Radio, and I've got Aaron on the phone. So, bro, listen, let me tell you, I'm gonna send you out a T-shirt just to kind of make amends there for the little faux pas when I get T-shirts made. So until then, you'll have to struggle through it with me, okay? Okay. So what's going on? Right, right, and that's something I struggled with for years, and that's not uncommon. So I want to commend you on the fact that you are approaching that. And listen, when you talk about how people in your lives said, "Well, just don't talk about that. That's family business. You don't spread that out." Man, we suffered and struggled through that stuff in silence, and that's causes to the rest of the families out there a lot more damage than we're really aware of. But when you start talking about allowing God to work in your life, that's what I was describing earlier of the difference between the fear of the change and what that was going to look like versus the pain of the consequences. Because until that pain came greater, I was unwilling to let go of that. I was terrified for me that I was going to be the guy standing on the soapbox, passing out Bible tracts, going, "Hey man, do you know Jesus Christ?" And there was just no way in hell. That was not my character. That was not my lifestyle. For a period in my life, grew long hair, rode a Harley Davidson, and had leather jacket. I mean, and I was in that lifestyle for a while. And so I want to encourage you to continue on the path. But here's what I will tell you, is you have got to get somebody in your life that has done that to show us what that life looks like. Because the fear for us is that, I don't want to be some dude that's just walking around, talking to other people in the grocery line and have this look on my face of this naivety, and all of a sudden become something that I'm not, because that's not who my character is. And so I was terrified, like you're talking about, of what does that change look like? How do I allow him to move, right? Right, correct. And because it's just replacing something with something else. So I want to encourage you. Listen, man, if you're on that path, that's great, and I'm glad you called, because I don't want anybody to think that there is a shortcut to this. But that journey, that path, that maturing, time takes time, and I know you know that saying. If you've been around you, then you've heard it before. But as we start to seek that, it's got to be deepening. That's that seeing that God couldn't would if He was sought. So how are you seeking? What material are you using? Where is that deepening? Where is your understanding of that growing? Because my experience, and this is a accumulation of a lot of other people that I knew of, it's okay to all of a sudden have that epiphany, have that revelation, and say, "Oh my God, God is a lot bigger than I ever thought He was." And I can tell you, for me, that happened, and I'll share this. And I'm going to do this offline. So, Aaron, listen, thank you, bro, for coming in. And I'm sure we'll run into each other somewhere eventually. But let me put it this way, as I was working through this maturing process and recovery, as far as a God understanding went, I was probably about 3 years into my recovery, and was still living on this premise that I had to pray the right way, or I had to be good enough, or I had to not do enough bad. And eventually I finally got to this place where I just kind of said in this little essence of, listen, God, if you really are God, and the magnitude of the name of God, where we use it so callously versus when we cuss somebody out, or when I'm just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and I've done that in text recently going, wow, I just kind of am, oh my God, a lot. I finally looked at him and said, hey, listen, if you really are, and you created me, and you know everything I've done, and you know everything I'm going to do, and you know everything that's supposed to be, there's no way in hell that I'm not going to be who I am. There's no way in hell I'm not going to be able to not do those things. If they're going to happen, they're happen. And you either have to accept me for who I am, or I got to get another God. And I had, and I'll share this, I had this overwhelming sense of peace where it reverberated in me that just said, okay. And it was indescribable, the psychic change that happened for me to be able to drop years of prejudice of what I thought God wanted me to be versus who he actually was. And from that moment to now, the relationship that I've had with a God of my understanding has proven to be more of one of comfort and joy and peace and help, not necessarily from a help of, I'm going to give you stuff, but help through the pain and the consequences and the decision making and the choices we make. And then there's the God that overwhelms me at times with the sense of his being and presence in watching those in my life's lives changed. I want to encourage everyone that's out there as we go through this. And if you're in AA, NA, GA, CA, OA, SLAA, if you're in any of those programs, that's great, okay? If you're in Celebrate Recovery, if you're in church, and you're right, Aaron, listen, I love those dudes that'll talk about God so openly. That's wonderful. But I want to make sure that you are taking responsibility to go seek. The legal standard is ignorance of the law is no defense, right? There's going to come a time, and I'll quote this, that it says, every knee will bend and every tongue confess that there is a God. And I'm going to tell you, for some people, that's going to be yeah, I guess you're real. And so, the Bible will say it's a frightful thing to fall into the hands of a living God. So, listen, I would encourage you to go seek, to go pick up the phone call, to go to a group, to find somebody that's going to help you. And if it's through this station, call in. If it's through Higher Powered FM, that's great. Listen, don't give up. Hang in there. You are not alone in all of this. And in our prayers, we pray that God is going to show himself to you. I'm Matt Dukes. This is Higher Powered Radio. We'll talk to you next week. Was hosted by Matt Dukes.